There's a strange thing that happens when we hurt the most. The more we crave comfort, the more we tend to run from it. Someone reaches out to hold us, to ask if we're okay, and instead of letting them in, we pull away. We say I'm fine when we're anything but. We isolate, withdraw, and build walls so tall that even love has to climb. And the most painful part, deep down, we know we're doing it. It's not that we don't want closeness, it's that we don't trust it anymore. Imagine this. You're going through a rough time. Maybe a breakup, maybe a wave of sadness you can't explain. Your phone buzzes. Someone asks if you want to talk. You stare at the message for a while, type yeah, maybe later, and never reply. You toss the phone aside, crawl under your blanket, and sink deeper into silence. There's this quiet belief whispering inside you. They wouldn't understand anyway. Or worse, if I open up, I'll only scare them away. That's how emotional walls are built. Not out of stone or strength, but out of fear. Fear of being too much, of being seen at your weakest, of being left again once someone finally knows the truth. Psychologists call this a form of defensive withdrawal. It's our mind's way of protecting us from emotional danger. Somewhere in your past, maybe long ago, you learned that being vulnerable often leads to pain. Maybe your parents didn't respond the way you needed them to when you cried as a kid. Maybe you opened up to someone once and they dismissed you or used your honesty against you. After enough of those experiences, your brain builds a connection. Closeness equals hurt. So it learns to pull away before the pain begins. And the tricky part is, it feels safe in the moment. It feels like control. You tell yourself you're just giving yourself space, that you don't need anyone. But, slowly, loneliness creeps in, and you start wondering why no one ever stays. The truth is, most people who push others away don't actually want to be alone. They just don't want to be disappointed again. They're trying to stop the wound from reopening. They think if they hide the mess, they can keep whatever's left of their dignity intact. You see this pattern in small, quiet ways. The friend who cancels plans last minute, even though they've been craving company all week. The person who jokes instead of opening up when someone asks what's wrong. The partner who picks fights right when the relationship starts to feel serious, just to avoid getting hurt first. All these moments share one root emotion: fear. Not fear of others, really, but fear of being seen and not loved anyway. When you've been hurt before, the mind learns to armor itself, but that armor doesn't just block pain, it blocks love too. You end up standing behind your own walls, waving at people from a distance, wondering why no one ever makes it through. It's easy to say, just let people in, but that's not how it works, is it? The walls you've built are not just defenses, they're part of your identity now. They've kept you safe, they've helped you survive. To tear them down feels like stepping out without skin. But there's a quiet truth we rarely talk about. Vulnerability and strength. They're not opposites. They're partners. You can be strong and still need someone. You can be independent and still crave connection. The problem isn't that you need people. It's that you've convinced yourself needing them makes you weak. The mind confuses needing support with losing control, and control is a drug for the emotionally guarded. It gives you the illusion that you're untouchable, that no one can hurt you again. But the cost of that control is connection. Maybe this pattern started long ago, without you even realizing it. Maybe, as a child, you learned to self-soothe because no one was really there. You became your own caretaker. You found ways to make yourself feel safe when no one else could. And as you grew older, that self-reliance became your shield. You started to believe that meeting someone was dangerous, that opening up was like handing them a weapon. But here's the quiet paradox. The same armor that once protected you now keeps you lonely. There's a quote that says, "You can't both protect yourself and connect with others. The more you hide your pain, the harder it becomes for anyone to truly love you, because they're loving a mask, not the person underneath." And maybe, just maybe, that's what hurts the most. The people who care about you see your distance and they mistake it for disinterest. They stop trying. They start believing you don't need them. And you, watching from the other side of your wall, you start believing no one cares. It's a cycle, isn't it? Loneliness feeds avoidance, avoidance feeds loneliness. But let's be honest for a moment. There's a comfort in your solitude, isn't there? The silence feels predictable. The pain feels familiar. There's no risk in staying alone. You can control when you speak, when you cry, when you break. No one can surprise you with abandonment. Yet, deep down, you know this isn't peace. It's just quiet fear. Peace is soft and freeing. Fear is heavy and still. The real healing begins not when you tear down all your walls at once, but when you start to let small cracks of light through. When you respond to a message instead of ignoring it. When you say, "I've been struggling," instead of "I'm fine." When you let someone sit with you in your sadness without needing to fix it. That's what real connection looks like. Not grand gestures, but small acts of trust. In therapy, this process is sometimes called corrective experience. It's when your brain learns that vulnerability doesn't always end in rejection. That it's possible to open up and still be safe. That maybe, just maybe, someone can hold your truth without breaking it. Not everyone will understand you. Some people won't have the depth to hold your emotions, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you should shut everyone out. The right ones, the gentle, patient ones, won't flinch when you go quiet. They won't run when you're not your best. They'll stay. But they can only stay if you let them see where to stand. People who push others away often call themselves cold or difficult, but that's just your mind doing what it learned to do best, protect you. You're not broken for guarding your heart, you adapted. The goal isn't to stop withdrawing, it's to notice when you do and ask, what am I afraid of right now? Maybe it's that they'll leave. Maybe it's that they'll see parts of you you've worked so hard to hide. That small, scared part of you isn't the enemy, it's tired. It's been keeping you safe for years. So instead of fighting it, try meeting it with kindness. When you catch yourself pulling away, pause and think, I know you're trying to protect me. That simple moment of awareness can soften the fear. Healing takes time, but every time you stay, open up, or let someone see you, you're teaching yourself that love can be safe again. You're not hard to love. You're just learning how to feel safe enough to stay.